design of a control unit of a computer. So based on the topics, actually this control unit of any CPU can be designed by using two ways. One is hardwired control design and second is design based on microprogram. Okay. So further based on the hardwired control design, we are going to discuss design of a basic computer. So now we are going to discuss overall design of a basic computer. Okay. So this is a typical hypothetical computer. Okay. So this is considered only for understanding purpose. Okay. So these are the components required to design a computer based on hardwired control design. Okay. We need a memory. It's about 4 kilobyte memory is required and 2 bytes per memory. It is 4096 words, 4096 locations, and per location 15 bits are considered. Okay. Then registers required are like address register, program counter, data register, accumulator, then interrupt register, temporary register, output register, input register, and sequence counter. So these are the minimum registers required. Okay. Then some flags are required, like flip-flops are required as flags. So it can be like indirect addressing sign, then carry flag, interrupt enable flag, and so on. Take a flag in, flag out. Then two decoders are required, 3 into 8 operation decoder and 4 into 16 timing decoder. So these decoders we considered in our previous topics in hardware design. So we'll continue with that structure. Then a 16-bit bus is used in this case because we are considering a case of 16-bit processor. Then control logic gates. Control logic gates, this was a part which was remaining, which was not discussed in our previous topic. So we'll discuss its structure in this topic. Then adder circuit, ALU circuit is required, which is connected to the accumulator. So overall block diagram of a simple computer, it has the following blocks. Okay. A processor, 16-bit processor, it is connected to input-output devices. It requires input devices. A clock is given from a clock source, and power on reset circuit. It is used to reset the microprocessor. Okay. And a memory interface, okay, through common bus. Then read pin, write pin are required. Further in this, address bus and data buses are also connected. Okay, so common bus in 80, this common bus in its 16-bit processor, it is having address bus and data bus. So address bus and data bus of the processor are connected to data bus and address bus of the memory. Okay, and then read and write pins are required to share information with the memory. And output devices are connected. Output devices like monitor, it can be connected to the processor. Input devices like keyboard, mouse are connected, can be connected to the device. Okay, so this is the overall structure of the microprocessor. Okay. And INPR, it is input register here, and out R, it is output register. Okay, so notation vary from microprocessor to microprocessor. So input and output devices communicate with the processor through input register and output registers. Okay, and memory communicates with through data bus and address bus. Okay, so this is the basic structure of a hardwired control unit we considered in our previous lecture. So it has two decoders, 3 into 8 decoder and 4 into 16 decoder. So this 3 into 8 decoder is the operation decoder, means it decodes the operation to be performed because the operation code is available in pins in bits 12, 13 and 14. Okay, in our previous lectures we discussed that after fetching the opcode, the microprocessor places it in the instruction register. So after fetching and after placing it in instruction register, then decoding is done. So to decode the operation code, the 3 into 8 decoder is used Further, based on the status of D0 to D7 pins, the control logic identifies the type of instructions and the type of addressing mode used in the instruction. At 4 into 16 decoder, this is timing decoder. So while executing the instruction or while fetching as well as decoding the instruction, all the timing sequences are controlled by this 4 into 16 decoder. Okay, and this 4-bit sequence counter drives the this decoder circuit. So the counter gives inputs from 00000 to 1111. According to that, the decoder produces pulses from T0 to T15. So this is what we have discussed in our previous lecture. So next is to discuss the role of control logic gates. Okay. So how the control logic gates controls various operations in the microprocessor, okay, or the CPU. So from this flow chart, we can understand how the fetching of the instruction or decoding of instruction and execution is done by the control unit. Okay. So firstly, the sequence counter, it is initialized with 0, and interrupt enable flip flop, it is 0, interrupt register is also 0. Okay. See the function of IEN, interrupt enable flip flop. Its function is to enable the interrupts. Okay, enable or disable the interrupt. And R, its function is to, it will have the information about any detected interrupt. Okay, suppose if R is 1, if R is 1, it means any interrupt is detected by the microprocessor, and then subroutine or the operation according to the interrupt is performed. Okay, so while executing the interrupt, as you might have studied in microprocessor, the control is transferred to the subroutine. So while transferring the control, the contents of program counter are saved to the stack memory. So in this process, during T0 cycle, the program counter contents are copied to this TR register. It is temporary register, and address register is cleared. And after that, the contents of temporary register are stored in the memory. Okay, and then uh, program counter, in the program counter 00 is placed. Okay, so and then the program counter is updated, and the subroutine is executed, or the required instruction is executed. And if the interrupt is not the case, and if interrupt register is 0, then the 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 fetching of the opcode is done, and it is placed in the IR register. This we have already discussed in the previous lecture. So fetching and place how the code is placed in the IR register. Then decoding is done in next T state. Okay. So first 3 T states are required to fetch the opcode, place the opcode in IR register, and decoding is done. After decoding, the control unit identifies the type of instruction. It can be memory related instruction, or it can be register related instruction. If D7 is 0, D7 is output of the opcode register. So if D7 0, it means the instruction is related to memory. Further, I bit is checked. If I bit is 0, it means direct addressing mode is used in the instruction. M bit is 1, then indirect addressing mode is used. So in that case, in case of indirect addressing mode, the address of the memory location where the data is placed is to be fetched from another area of the memory. Okay, then execution is done. And if it is 1, then the instruction will be, it can be related to registers or input output devices. Further, I bit is again checked. If it is 0, the instruction is related to register. Then the register is identified, and execution is done. And if it's related to input output devices, then the address of the input device is identified, it is fetched from the memory, and execution is done. Okay. Now this table shows some instructions which can be executed by this proposed or hypothetical computer. Okay, so this table shows the operation performed, like for decoding, fetching, then indirect or related to interrupt, then some memory reference instructions. We have considered four types of instructions in our last lecture, that is memory reference instructions, register reference instructions and output input instructions. Okay, so this second column indicates the status of various bits or T states for execution of a particular instruction. For example, if we want to execute add instruction, then one byte should be available in accumulator and second byte should be available in the data register. So this add instruction will be executed by using two micro operations. So in first micro operation, a byte from memory will be placed in data register. So for this, D1 bit should be 1 and T4 bit should be 1. That is T4, that is the T state should also be active. So for D1, T4, data will be placed in the data register, and in next micro operation, that is D1, T5, addition of accumulator and data register will be done and it will be placed in the accumulator, and accordingly carry will be placed in E register. So this book or in this structure, E is the carry bit. It is represented with E. E means extended accumulator. Okay, so any extension of the accumulator will be placed in E byte, E bit, sorry. Then this SC, that is sequence counter, is initialized to be 0. Okay, now you can see these operations performed by the instructions. The operations are mentioned by using that RTL, register transfer language we discussed in our previous chapter. So in this you can see the 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 operation performed by the instruction is represented by using some symbols. Okay, so we will be considering some of these instructions to discuss the role of control logic gates in controlling the overall operation with the microprocessor. Now, what is the function of control logic gates? See, control logic gates, these receive information from uh, decoders, okay, 3 into 8 decoder, 4 into 16 decoder, or information from, okay, let me show you the block diagram. So control logic gates receive information from this timing decoder, okay, opcode decoder, operation decoder, IR register 0 to 11 bits and I15 bits, and other inputs can be from accumulator or data register or other flag registers. So after receiving all the information from flags, from the opcode, from the register information, I bit and timing signal, the control logic generates control signals. Okay, so the role of the logic is to generate the control signal based on the input, and then execution is done. Okay. So after receiving information from various input entities, the control logic gates, it generates signals to control inputs of 9 registers. Okay, so we have considered various registers in this architecture, in this design. So inputs to all the control registers or inputs to all the registers is controlled by this control logic gates. Then signals to control read and write operation with memory. So any communication with memory is also controlled by this control logic gates. Signals to set a clear complement flip-flops. So flip-flops are also controlled by using this block. So, so these flags are set or clear complement based on certain arithmetic or logical operations. Further, to control the bus, certain bus control signals are required. These are used in the form of S0, S1, S2. We will also discuss this. Then signals to control the accumulator circuit, that is adder and logical circuit. Okay. So all these control operations are performed by the control logic unit of the, that is control logic gates of the control unit. Now let us see how, with an example, let us see how this control unit, it controls the operation of the register. Okay. So we consider the example of address register here. Okay. So first of all, we have identified the instructions in which the data is written to the address register. Okay, like instruction is program counter is placed into address register, interrupt register is placed in the address register, information from memory is copied into address register, 0 is placed in address register, and address register is incremented. So out of these instructions, out of this table, we have identified the instructions in which any information is copied to the address register. Okay? Like this instruction, PC to AR register. Okay, then in IR to AR register. That is IR means instruction register. Then memory to AR register, 0 to AR register, and so on. So all the instructions related to AR register as we have identified. So there are five instructions. Okay. Now first instruction will be executed. Means program counter will be shifted to AR register if R is 0 and T0 is 1. Okay. Program counter is copied to AR register during first T state, that is T0 T state, provided that R bit should be 0. R bit is the interrupt bit. So the interrupt should not be detected. Interrupt bit should be 0. Then only program counter is copied to the AR register. The second instruction will be executed provided that T2 is active and R is 0. R is 0. Okay. So in that case, first 12 bits of the instruction register will be placed in AR register. Similarly, for third case, a byte from memory will be fetched and will be placed in AR register, provided that D7, if it is 0, I bit is 1 and T3 is active. During T3 state, a byte will be placed in AR register, byte will be fetched from memory, provided that I should be 1 and D7 should be 0. Similarly, 0 will be placed in AR register if R is 1 and T is 0. T0 is active. Okay? And AR register will be incremented for D5 and T4. Okay? So these are the 5 conditions. Okay? Now, the first 3 we can say that are data transfer operations. Okay, so we can combine first 3. Like in all these first 3, the load means the write pin. Okay, in some of the books it is written as write pin. It can be written as input enable pin or output enable pin. Read write pins can be represented like that. So in first 3 instructions, load pin should be activated. So this LD pin will be activated if this is true or this is true or this is true. Okay. So load pin of the address register will be activated if any one of first 3 instructions are executed. Okay. Then fourth instruction is to clear the address register. So to clear the address register, a separate pin is there, clear. So it means this fourth instruction, it is related to clear pin. And fifth is to increment the AR register. So to increment, a specialized pin is there, that is INR. Okay. So inputs to this circuit, which we want to design, inputs will be like this quantity D7, T3, RT2 and RT0. These are the inputs. Then RT0, this input, D5, D4. These are the inputs. Outputs are load signal, clear signal, and increment signal. So based on these Boolean expressions, we have to design a circuit by using gates. Okay. For this, first LD. When it will be activated? When this quantity is true, means D7 and I and T3, these are true, or R and T2 are true, or R dash and T0 are true. Okay. So first of all, D7, I and T3, these are given as input to an AND gate because these all should be true. True means D7 should be 0, I should be 1, T3 should be 1. Here true means first one 0, second 1, third 1. So when all are true, this AND gate will give one output and it will activate the load pin. Or R dash and T2, these are true. So R, it is inverted and R dash is obtained and it is given along with T2 as input to the AND gate and it is further inverted to OR gate. And third is R dash and T0. So it is inverted R dash and T0. So these are further given as input to the AND gate and then the output goes to the OR gate and finally it is connected to the load gate. So these first three AND gates, 1, 2, 3, these are used to represent three quantities of first Boolean expressions related to load. Okay. Then related to clear, this is RT0. So R and T0, these are connected as input to the AND gate, and further output is connected to the clear. Similarly, we obtain a signal for increment. Okay. So now, based on the instruction fetched by the CPU, after fetching and after decoding, certain signals are generated. Okay, certain signals are generated. If any combination is true, then the corresponding control signal is generated. Like control signal, this per circuit are load, increment, and clear. These are the control signals. So these control the operation of the AR register. Okay, load, it is used to write the information in AR. Increment, it is used to increment the AR, and clear, it is used to make the AR 0. Okay. Now suppose if we load any information to the AR, then on activation of load signal, AR will receive information from the bus, data bus of the microprocessor. Okay. So this is the design of circuit which controls various operations related to AR register. Similarly, there are 9 number of registers which we are considering in this design. So separate electronic or digital circuits needs to be designed for each register. We need a designed circuit for to control the memory operations. We need a design circuit to control the operation of flip-flops. We need to design a circuit to control the operations of data bus. Okay. For example, if you want to design a circuit for data register, let us say, okay, data register operation. So identify the instructions related to data register. So this instruction from where in which information from memory is placed in data register. So the condition is D0 T4. So one AND gate is here. Okay. Then in case of LDA, again information is placed in data register. So the combination is D2 and T4. Again for ISZ instruction. So identify all the instructions related to in which the information is placed in data register, and select the signals, and use the AND gates, OR gates, NOT gates to generate or to design a circuit. So this is the circuit which is to be designed to control the operation to AR register. Now, next selection of registers which are to be accessed or which are to be manipulated by the CPU. How registers are controlled, how operations related to registers are controlled. Okay. So we need a circuit. First of all, let me show the overall circuit. So in this, we need an encoder circuit. So inputs to the encoder circuit will be X1, X2, X3, X4 up to X7. Okay. So these 7 inputs are given as input to the circuit, and outputs generated will be S0, S1, S2. Okay. For example, at a time, one input will be activated of this encoder, either X1, X2, or X3, or X4, or X5, and so on. But for example, if say X1 is active, then the signal generated at the output of encoder will be say 0, 0, 1. If X2 is activated, then 0, 1, 0. For X3, 0, 1, 1. So for X4, 1, 0, 0. So for X7, 1, 1, 1. So output combination is generated according to the active input. Okay. Then these S0, S1, S2 are given as input to the multiplexer to select a bus for a particular register. So let us see in this table, truth table basically. So 0, 0, 0, 0 inputs are not valid. Okay. So there is no meaning of giving all zeros input to the encoder circuit. Suppose we have activated X1 input. So X1 is active and rest of the inputs are 0. Then the status of these S0, S1, S2 pins will be 0, 0, 1. With this, AR register is selected. That is, address register is selected by the control unit. Okay. So now to select the control unit, to select the address register, address register, X1 pin should be active. X1 pin should be active. Then 0, 1, that means X2, if X2 is active by keeping rest of the bits inactive, the status of these pins will be 0, 1, 0. With this, program counter will be selected. Okay. So now if we want to write any information to program counter, then we should enable X2 pin by keeping rest of the X's disabled. Okay. So there can be 7 combinations, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we have 7 things to be controlled: AR, PC, DR, AC, IR, TR, and memory. Okay. Now, for example, if we want to say enable, if we want to select AR register, okay, we want to read information from AR register and transfer it into program counter. So now we want to select AR register. So with this, it will be possible if D4 and T4 these are active. So this we have obtained from the table, instruction table. Okay, so information from AR register, it is being transferred to PC. So it is D5 T5. Okay. And it is also true for D4 T4. Okay, I think that there can be more than one times when it is required to transfer information from AR register to PC register. So for these two combinations, information goes from AR to PC. Okay, so the AR register will be selected if D4 T4 this is true or D5 T5 is true. So Boolean expression becomes X1 will be activated. X1 will be activated if either D4 T4 is true or D5 T5 is true. So based on this Boolean expression, we can design a circuit to generate X1. Okay. Similarly, we need to design circuits for generation of, for making X2 active, for making X3 active, and so on. Okay. So a digital circuit needs to be designed for each input X1, X2, X4, and so on. Then these are given to the encoder. Then output generated from encoder goes to the register selection, further circuit selection circuits. Okay, so X1 is given, it should be generated from these inputs. Yes, students, how many AND gates will be required for this expression to generate X1? How many AND gates needs to be used? Yes, how many AND gates will be required? 2 AND gates. And how many OR gates? 1 OR gate. Okay. Let us see how the operations related to accumulator are controlled. Okay, so design of accumulator logic. So all these logics, whether related to registers operations, memory operations, or related to data bus operations, are part of the control logic gates. Okay, so now see the overall application of accumulator. So it is used to perform used in data transfer operations or in arithmetic and logical operations. Okay. Now, if we want to load information to accumulator, then load signal should be active. Okay. Or if we want to increment the accumulator, then increment control signal should be active. If we want to clear the signal, then clear should be active. Okay. So this is done by control logic. So now this block, it is having this circuit. Sorry, accumulator, it's accumulator. So similar circuit, like AR register, we can design this similar circuit for accumulator. Okay, so the design will be based on the instructions, register transfer language instructions. So the similar circuit we use for accumulator. So now in this diagram, that circuit is written represented with the help of a control gates block, simple block. So outputs of this block are load signal, increment signal, and clear signal. Inputs can be input from decoder circuits, 4 into 16, 3 into 8 decoder, or input from instruction register circuit, and so on. Okay. So first of all, to load the information, to load 1 byte in accumulator, load signal should be activated, and after the circuit receives information in accumulator. Now suppose we want to perform add operation, arithmetic add operation. So to add 2 bytes, 1 byte should be in accumulator, second byte it should be in the data register. So second byte it will receive from data register, 1 byte it will receive from accumulator, then addition will be performed and the sum is placed in the accumulator. Okay, and or the second byte it can also receive from input device through input register INPR. Okay, first byte it must be in the accumulator, second byte can be available in the data register or in the input register, and after performing addition or after performing any logical operation, the information is placed in the accumulator itself. Okay, so this is the overall structure. So let us see how control signals are generated related to various arithmetic operations or logical operations. So let us consider the instructions in which information is stored in the accumulator. So after performing certain operations, or it can be simply data transfer operation. Okay? For example, in first instruction, information in accumulator is placed after performing logical AND operation between accumulator and data register. So 1 byte is in accumulator, second byte is in data register. After performing the logical AND operation, it is placed in the accumulator. So for this condition is D0 should be 1 and T5 should be active. So it is done during T5 state. And second is after performing logical AND operation, information is transferred to accumulator and condition is D1, T5. Similarly for DR register, information is transferred to accumulator for this condition. And information from input device through input register. Information from input device is placed in accumulator. So first 8 bits of the accumulator. If this condition P, B11 is true. Okay. So what are these B's? B5, B11, B6, B7, B0, and what is this P and R? So let us go back to the table, check it. Okay. Let's see R, small r. So R is, it is D2 I dash T3 is equal to R. So this condition is D2 should be 1, I should be 0, T3 should be 1. This condition should be true for all the instructions. Okay, all the instructions. So instead of writing D2, I and T3 again and again, so one common parameter R is defined. So it is written here with in case of each of the instructions. Okay, so R is this computation. Similarly, P is D7I T3. D7I T3. So condition is D7 should be 1, I should be 1, and T3 should be 1. So this P should be true for all these instructions. Okay. So that's why P is written here instead of writing these three parameters again and again. Okay. So P, and now what are the B's? B0, B1. So these are the B0 to B11 bits of those instruction register. Okay. Bits 0 to 11, that is 12 bits. Okay, B0 to B11, these are the bits of instruction register. Okay, so these are also helpful in identifying the type of instruction to be executed. Okay, or the type of register to be selected. So the control unit will receive information from decoder circuits, like in the form of D0 to D7 and T0 to T15. It will receive information from I bit and will receive information from bits B0 to B11, and according to that, any operation out of these will be performed. So from the instruction table, we have selected the instructions in which information is transferred to accumulator after performing certain logical or arithmetic operation. Okay, first is logical operation and second is OR operation, add operation, arithmetic add operation. It is simple data transfer operation. This is also data transfer operation. It represents one's complement. It is shift right, shift left, then clear, then increment. Okay. So now to perform all these operations, to load information into accumulator after performing the operation, load pin of the accumulator register should be active. So we have to design a circuit based on these instructions. So which circuit will activate the load signal? Okay, you can see the circuit like AND operation, add operation, DR register, and input register, and so on. So for example, AND operation. Okay, if AND operation is to be performed, then after performing AND operation, the information should be placed in load register. So when it will be done, when D0 and T5 are true, when D0 and T5 are true, in this you can see, when D0 and T5 both are true, okay, these should be given to an input of an AND gate. So it will activate the load pin, okay. Then for add operation, D1 and T5 should be true. To load information from data register, D2 and T5 should be true, and so on. Okay. If any one of these arithmetic or logical operation is to be performed by the CPU, then load pin should be active. That's why OR gate is placed here. OR gate is placed here. So this load signal will be active if AND operation is performed, or add operation is performed, or information from DR register is copied, or then this information from input register is copied, complement operation is performed, shift right, shift left, increment, clear. Increment and clear, these are related to increment and clear pins of the accumulator, and load, it is used to write some information to the accumulator after performing any one of these operations. Okay, so if any operation is performed by the CPU, it will write information to accumulator, so it will activate the load pin. So that's why OR gate is placed here. Okay, so if this LD is active, it will read information from ladder and logic circuit. Okay, next let us combine it with the ALU circuit. See, these inputs, AND gate, add, DR, okay, these are obtained from previous circuit, like AND, add. See, output of this AND gate goes to the OR gate information, and it is also used in this circuit also. Means output of AND gate, see, output of first AND gate, it goes as input to this OR gate and then to load pin. Okay, this output, and it also goes as input to this AND gate next. Okay, so before this AND gate, there is another AND gate in the first stage. Okay, and OR gate, it is not shown here. So some part of the arithmetic and logical unit is shown in this diagram, or cannot be shown due to complexity of the circuit. Further, accumulator register, it is a 16-bit register. It is a 16-bit register. So for each bit, we have to use this flip-flop, and we have to use full adder circuit. So to design a arithmetic circuit, we need 16 full adders and 16 flip-flops, okay, for each bit for this accumulator. So further, for each bit, we can perform add operation, information can be received from data register, then input from input register and so on, okay. So this circuit is required for each bit of the accumulator. For example, we have to perform add operation. Addition is shown in this case. So to perform add operation, we need full adder for each bit of the accumulator. So say this is bit number ith bit. So it will receive ith bit of accumulator as input, and it will consider second input from DR register, ith bit of DR register, and will give output. Okay, so this output will go to the accumulator if this bit is 1. So this bit is 1. From where it is received? It is received from previous circuit, this add bit. Okay, when it will be 1 if T5 is active and D1 is 1. Okay, so the CPU will perform add operation only if D1 is 1 and T5 is active. So this add will be active, and this add pin signal will be used to transfer information from adder to the accumulator. Okay, so through OR gate it goes to the accumulator through this JK flip-flop. So this is basically a latch circuit used to store the information. Okay. Similarly, if suppose we want to receive information from data register directly without performing any operation, okay, till now we have discussed that the information is stored in the accumulator after performing addition. We can directly receive information from the DR register and can transfer it to the accumulator provided that this DR is active. So when it will be active? If D2 is active and T5 is active. So output of this gate DR, it is given as input to this next gate to activate the path. Similarly, information from input device can be received and so on. For example, we want to complement the contents of accumulator. So complement this we done. This we do in bit by bit. Okay. So one bit from accumulator it is received. NOT operation is performed. Then it is sent to the accumulator through this flip-flop, provided that complement bit is active. Okay. Now condition for complement operation is R and B9. It should be active. Okay. So by combining this circuit and this circuit, or adding full adders and gates and JK flip-flops for each bit of the accumulator, we can design a complete arithmetic and logical unit. Okay, so in this structure you can see that various electronic components are wired together to implement the arithmetic and logical unit of the microprocessor. So this type of structure is called as, it is based on hardwired design. Okay, this is why we call this, it is hardwired design. Okay, so we just give inputs to the control logic gates. So inputs are received from the operation code through decoder as 4 into 16 decoder, and other information can be from accumulator, from data register and flip-flops. The control logic gates, it generates various control signals which are required in performing the, or in execution of the instructions. Okay, so this is all about hardwired type of control and design of a hypothetical computer based on the hardwired control.